everyone, how are you? It's Leah Coss with the Mortgage Center, and I wanted to share a story of a client that I had because, I mean, this is obviously going to sound like I'm really endorsing mortgage broker services as opposed to going to your bank, but it's not. It is, but it isn't. It truly is a risk that you take by not just going to multiple banks, but if you go to multiple brokers as well. What happened with this client is they actually got declined at 2 different lenders. And it wasn't because there was anything wrong with their file necessarily. It was simply because of the perception that the banks had based on their credit bureau because they were shopping around. Now, it's important to know that if you go to a bank and just ask them for the rate that they're offering, that's not a bad thing. You can also call up multiple brokers and ask them what rates they're offering if that's what you want to do. However, the moment that you put your pen to paper and sign anything that's a disclosure, anything that's even just something as innocent as sounding like a mortgage application, that mortgage application is actually giving them the right to pull your credit. Is that a bad thing? No. Is it a bad thing if you do it multiple times? Heck yes. And that's what happened to this client. Now, luckily, I'm really good at what I do, and although they were declined at 2 different lenders, I was able to get the deal done. But I don't want you to have to go through the same stress. So what had happened is that they went to a bank. They didn't like the person they were working with, but they had already filled out a mortgage application with them and got pre-approved by that bank. Then they decided to go to a different bank because they didn't like that bank. And they went to this other one, did another mortgage application, and they were perfectly happy with that bank person. And then they went and they found a realtor to help them go and shop for a home, and the realtor strongly suggested that they use me because I could get a better rate, which I could. And so they opted to then go with me. Now at this point, they've had their credit pulled twice at these 2 different banks, and now once again by me. I then proceed to review their application. I see the credit pulls, but being optimistic, I send it in. What happened is that the mortgage insurer, not the lender, the mortgage insurer, where if the mortgage insurers say no to you, your deal is dead no matter what lender wants to take on your loan. But the mortgage insurer looked at their credit and said, they went to 2 different banks first, and although that their application looks okay, this is creating a huge red flag, and we're worried that those banks declined them based on something that we don't know. Because the mortgage insurer only gets paperwork, whereas the bank gets to actually meet the person, talk to the person, see their bank activities, see paperwork, hear about the situation. For all they knew, the woman was about to go on mat leave or something like that, and the banks knew it, declined it, but the mortgage insurer doesn't know that. They don't get to meet the client, and they declined it. So here this client is going, well, what did I do wrong? Nothing, except shop around and sign pieces of paper, but they didn't know that was a bad thing, so you can't really fault them. So the deal should have gotten done, and ultimately it did get done. But meanwhile, this person is so stressed out, they've made offers on a home that they've fallen in love with, and now they're worried because they might have to get an extension on the subject removal or not be able to buy the home at all. Again, luckily we came through, we got it done for them, but this is something that just didn't need to happen. And I need you to realize that if you are going to shop for rates, that's one thing, but if you're going to sign anything or try and get pre-approved at multiple places, not the greatest thing in the world. When I do a pre-approval for someone, I'm not pulling your credit. What I'm doing is just an online pre-approval. Now, if you like what I have to say, then I will strongly encourage you to get a mortgage application in as well as all of your other paperwork, because the moment that you make an offer on a home, you're only going to have about 3, 5, or 7 days of the business days to get all of this paperwork to me and to get an approval from a lender. Lenders don't work overnight. Lenders only work during business hours, and they have heavy caseloads. So because of that, you want to have everything collected and up front and ready to go while you're shopping for a home. But if you do decide that you want to rate hunt behind a broker or a bank's back, just be aware that you are risking your application and that you might not get approved at the end of the day. So if you have any questions about this, or if you have already gone to a couple of banks and now you're worried that you can't get approved, give me a call. Like I said, I did pull it through, I did get it approved, but you need to stop your search now and choose someone and just stick with them. So Leah Coss with the Mortgage Center, hopefully that helps to prevent any needless stress in the future while you're shopping for homes, and hopefully everything works out. If you have any questions, always happy to help.